everyone, it's Chloe from Chloe's Creative Cards, and today I just wanted to show you how we're going to create this beautiful project using some of the new Christmas products. So to create this card we're going to be using the Swirling Stars tree along with the Proud Reindeer stamp and die set. We're also going to be using the gorgeous 8x8 Snowflake frame die set and some of the papers from the White Christmas collection. So I've gone for a silvery theme with this card, but of course if you wanted to change up the colours and make it more traditional, you could do just by changing the colours of your mats and layers. As always, all the items that I'm using are listed in the description below and are available to shop online at www.chloescreativecards.co.uk. Okay then, so we're going to get started. I'm going to pop these little bits and pieces to one side and I'm going to start on the mats and layers for my project. So to start with, I've got an 8x8 card blank and I've also got my mats and layers pre-cut down to size. So let me grab my card blank in, that would help. I've got a piece of silver mirror card that I've just cut to fit on the front. And then I've got a piece of crystal white card and one of the gorgeous foiled papers from the White Christmas paper pad. So we're going to mat those all together and stick those onto the front of the card. Before we do, I'm going to take the pattern paper and I'm going to take a chisel tip glue pen, which I've just buried somewhere, I think. Let me just have a quick look. A chisel tip glue pen here, and I'm going to take some Crystalina glitter. So this is one of our Sparkalicious glitters. And this one is called Crystalina. It's a really nice kind of, it's just like a see-through neutral glitter, which is really pretty. So it's just going to add like that little bit of frosting just along the edge of this particular card blank. So we're just going to work our way around, adding our glitter onto here, like so. And this is such a lovely technique because it gives you like an extra little mat and layer without it being like too in your face. So that's that one there. And then we're going to stick our mats and layers together. So to do that, I'm just going to use a little bit of Halal all-purpose glue. Start by sticking my mirror card onto my base card. Of course, if you wanted to, you could gut the middles out of these layers as well. I personally don't tend to, if I'm being honest. I just find it easier to get the mats and layers down straight if I don't do that. So, I'm going to stick this down onto my card blank. It's going to go under there like so. And I'm going to take my white card and I'm going to stick this piece down. Going to go onto my card blank there. So, and I'm going to take the next piece and I'm going to stick that one on as well. So you can see how we've got our mats and layers all nicely stuck down. So the next part that we're going to do is the beautiful kind of detailed snowflake layer. So to do that, I'm using our 8x8 snowflake frames die, which is absolutely stunning. I love this die. It is sized perfectly for 8x8 cards. But because you get other mats and layers that drop down in size with it, you can use it on your 7x7s and 6x6s too. But it is a really beautiful die set. So to die cut this one out, this is a really large and very detailed die. With my Gemini, I use my base plate, my plastic shim. I pop my die on the top. Sorry, I've just got something on my cutting plate, on my plate there, so I don't want that to mark my card. And then I pop my cutting plate on the top, okay? And then I run that through. So what you'll find with this die is you will probably need to run it through your machine more than once, and you will need to rotate it for this to die cut out perfectly. So the first cut is this one here. So you can see how it's cut these two sides perfectly, but there's not been quite as much pressure here on the rollers, okay? So if we rotate that by 90 degrees, like so, be careful that you're not moving your card as well, which is why I made sure my card was well taped in place. Pop your cutting plate on the top and then run that back through again. And you will see when this comes out that our beautiful snowflakes have die cut out perfectly. And we're going to bling them up with a little bit of sparklicious glitter. So there we go. If we take that away, you can see how beautifully this snowflake border has cut. Just take a little bit of time just to get the waste away. You don't want to damage any of that detail. But you can see there how we can just pull that away, and that is absolutely perfect. Okay, and then what you can also do is just take your pokey tool anywhere where there's little extra kind of bits that just need to be pushed through. You can just pop those through with your pokey tool. Yeah, it's really easy. So if we get rid of those bits there, get rid of that bit there, those bits there, you can see that that is absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do now is bring in my scrap card, and I'm going to bring in my sparklicious glitter. So the glitter that I'm using this is an older one actually. This one's called Silver Crystal, but just look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like crushed silver glass. Really pretty. I absolutely love this glitter. I was obsessed with it last year. Like everything got glittered in it. I just love it. So I'm going to take my chisel tip blue pen again. And what I'm going to do is just glitter the snowflakes on the edge. So all that I'm doing is just using that glue pen, dragging it along the edge, and just blinging up the snowflakes. And then I'm going to take our glitter and we're just going to sprinkle that over the top. Like so. And if I hold that up, you can then see how we've got those really pretty little glittery snowflakes just going along the edge. So we're going to do exactly the same on all four sides. And then we're going to pop a bit of glitter just over there. Go, and then we're going to do exactly the same, just covering this with our gorgeous glitter like so. I'm just pushing a little bit more glue through to the tip of my pen as well there. See how we've got all of that beautiful glitter just as a little frame around the edge of that die cut, but you can see how pretty that then is. So we're going to mat this down onto our card blank. So to do that I'm going to use some foam pads because we want to get that little bit of lift and dimension underneath those snowflakes, and then we'll get a bit of light shining through, which will look really pretty. So I'm using our foam pads on a roll, just torn mine up into little strips just so that I can keep a box of them on my desk. And these are great because they're so easy just to whip the backs off. You can literally just pull the backs off these like so. So easy to do. Okay. That's then going to go down onto our card blank. Oops. So you can see how pretty that then looks. Then got a piece of silver mirror card that I've cut to size to kind of fit in the middle of there. So I'm going to pop that on with a little bit of Collal glue. It's just going to get stuck onto here. Like so. Okay, then I'm going to pop that to one side and we're going to do a little bit of stamping and embossing now. So I'm going to just give my little desk a little brush because it's looking a bit glittery after glittering those snowflakes there. Okay, but what we're going to do is take a square of white card. So I've cut this down to fit in the middle of that mirror card. And I'm going to take an anti-static bag, give this a good dust over. And then I'm going to take my Stars and Swell tree stamp and we're going to ink it up and stamp it in the corner. So I'm using a Wow Clear Embossing ink pad. I'm inking up my stamp. And then I'm going to stamp this down just onto this side of my little, where my seam's going to be. So I'm going to stamp that about there. So hover, and then you want firm even pressure all over the stamp. So I'm keeping one hand in place whilst using the other hand to press. And then we're going to lift that off like so. Then I'm going to take my Wow Metallic Silver Sparkle embossing glitter, and I've just sprinkled that over the top and tapped away the excess. Like so. Then I'm going to do is pop that back into the jar. Just missed the jar a tiny bit there. And we're going to heat this up. So to heat this up, what I'm going to do is just take my heat gun. And I'm going to hold my heat gun still and kind of chase it. Just until that embossing powder starts to melt and change. And then as soon as it does, I'm just going to move my heat gun over the image like so. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some little crystals and I'm going to bling up my Christmas tree. So to do that, I'm going to take my Art Glitter Dries Clear Glue. I'm going to just pop some little dots of glue . Under the tree. And then I'm going to take some little jewels and just stick these down. Like so, just popping these jewels. Over the tree. And you can really just like bling this up just by adding this extra little bit of sparkle. So then we'll just add another few on. Just stick these down like so. So on there. I think I'm going to leave that at about that for my tree. So it's kind of like adding the baubles on. And then we're going to take a little bit of the art glitter, Dry's Clear Glue. And we're just going to go in and around, adding in little dots. All over like so. And then I'm going to take my silver crystal glitter. I'm going to sprinkle this over the top. It's just a little bit of that glitter straight onto there, and then you can see the effect that that then gives. Really, really pretty. Okay. Now another thing that we don't want is we don't want a floating Christmas tree. So I'm going to take some of our Sparklicious glitter, and the one that I'm looking for is Silver Snow, and I seem to have moved it. So Silver Snow is a Sparklicious glitter that's like got a chunky snow-like texture. Just give me 2 seconds. So sorry about this, everyone. I'll see if I can grab one. If not, we might just have to use a different colour. I think I've buried it somewhere in my little craft room. There it is. It's when you tidy up, isn't it? And then you can't find anything. So you can see that Silver Snow has like a more flake kind of texture to it. Really, really pretty though. So what we're going to do is take our art glitter, Dry's Clear Glue, and at the bottom of the Christmas tree we're just going to scribble. So we're going to scribble along here, scribble along there. And just add PVA glue like so. Then we're going to take our Silver Snow glitter, we're going to sprinkle that over the top, and you can then see how that gives you like that little snowy texture just at the bottom of the tree, which is really, really pretty. So I'm going to pop that back into the jar like so. And then I'm just going to take this piece and I'm going to just drag along the edge with my chisel tip glue pen. I'm going to use a little bit of Crystallina glitter. So you're just going to take your glue pen and drag along each side. So, and that's just going to create that little kind of glittery border again, which looks ever so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to one side to dry. While that's drying, we're going to work on a little reindeer for this particular project. So what we're going to do is, I've already got one that I'd pre-prepped because I've blinged him up a little bit, of course. So I'll take a little bit of Crystal White Pearl cardigan. And then I'm going to take my anti-static bag, I'm going to give this a little dust over, and then I'm going to take my stamp, which is of my lovely reindeer. I'm going to ink him up with my clear embossing ink pad. I'm going to place him down onto my card and press. So again, you want firm even pressure all over the stamp, and then we're going to lift that away. And we're going to take our scrap paper back in. We're going to cover it with some metallic silver sparkle embossing powder, and we're going to tap away the excess. so. Any leftover powders going straight back into the jar. And we're just going to heat this up. So we're just going to hold the heat gun still. And then as soon as we see that powder start to melt and change, we're just going to move the heat gun over the image. Like so. So you can see how beautiful that reindeer then looks and how lovely and sparkly it already is. Just going to give that a couple of seconds just to cool off from the heat. And then I'm going to take my dye. I'm going to pop my dye over the top. So all I'm doing is just looking to kind of line this up roughly. Looks about right. I'm going to tape him down in place. And then run that through my die cutting machine. So again, I've got my base plate, my plastic shim and my cutting plate on the top. We're going to run that through the die cutting machine. So I'm using my Gemini again. And then we're just going to grab that from the other side. And we take that away. We've got our beautifully die cut out reindeer. Now I have got one that I've already done, and what I've done with him is I've just gone ahead, I've put some little jewels on his antlers and given him a little jewel for a nose as well. Okay, and I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to pop a couple of foam pads just on the back. So I'm going to put a foam pad there and a foam pad there, and then I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to do like a double there. Okay, I'm going to pop that to one side for now. Oh, actually, I've got a little bow that I've tied as well. I've got a little bow and a glue dot. I'm just going to stick that on his neck there, like so. Okay, really cute. I'm going to pop that to one side so we're getting ready to assemble the card. Before we do, I just want to do a little sentiment to go onto this project. So I've just taken one from our Christmas verse stamp set. So I've taken Warmest Thoughts for a Wonderful Christmas. I'm going to take a little bit of crystal white card again. I'm going to give it a dust with an anti-static. I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm going to stamp my sentiment down and press. And then we're going to take a little bit of the metallic silver sparkle embossing powder. I'm going to pop that back into the jar, and then I'm going to heat this up. So I'm just going to use my heat gun, holding my heat gun still and moving that over the image like so. Once that's all nicely heated, I'm going to take my guillotine and I'm going to just trim this down like so. Do again, just tend to do all of this by eye. And then I'm going to take my piece of scrap card again and I'm going to take my Crystallina glitter. Just going to drag along each edge. Like so. Then we're going to mat that onto a little piece of silver mirror card. Just going to use a little bit of glue just onto the back. And just stick that down. I take my guillotine and then I just trim down my little sentiment like so. And I'm going to pop a foam pad just onto the back of here. Okay, and we're going to just start to assemble this card now. I'm going to bring my base card back in. I'm going to stick this piece down with some foam pads. Now what I would ordinarily do at home is wait until that glue's all dried at the bottom. But because I'm just showing you how to kind of assemble and everything, I'm going to just dive ahead and do this part. So I'm going to pop some foam pads onto here. And then I'm going to take the backs off of these. I'm going to hover with this one and pop it down like so. Okay, so you can see how pretty that then looks. Then got my little reindeer, which I've got on a double layer of foam pads. I'm going to stick him down there. Got my sentiment that I'm just going to pop at a little angle in the corner. And that would then be your finished card. So you can see how pretty this looks, all in silver and white. Of course, if you wanted to make it a little bit more traditional, you could just be changing the colours on this one, or maybe adding some coloured jewels onto the Christmas tree, just to kind of bling it up a little bit. I really hope that you've enjoyed this project. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel or give our page a like, and we'll be sure to be posting some more inspiration soon. All of the products that I've used are listed in the comments below, and if you'd like to shop them, you can shop online at www.chloescreativecards.co.uk.